Only in China can you have a children's film featuring a gay blowjob joke and an alcoholic pangolin. Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Rusty Cleaver, and this is my review of Legend of the Naga Pearls. I watched Legend of the Naga Pearls at Festival Walk in Kowloon Tong because it wasn't playing at the Dynasty. Now, I realize that may sound mean, but I had seen the trailer. I wasn't expecting much, but it was produced by Gordon Chan, and Simon Yam was in it, and Kitty Jong was in it, and I was also in the middle of simultaneous chest and sinus infections, so Legend of the Naga Pearls got the cough syrup discount. I think it might have helped. It didn't hurt, I can tell you that much. Legend of the Naga Pearls is the first movie set in Novoland, a fictional universe created in China as a response to the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know either. Much of the plot, and there really isn't much of a plot, revolves around the defense of a city called Uranopolis, which by happenstance is apparently the hotel in Moscow that Donald Trump likes to stay in. But let's move on. This movie was released in 3D in China, but I watched it in 2D. It was my only option. I have to say though, it probably looked good in 3D. There's no arguing that a good portion of the budget of this movie went into the visual presentation, and it shows. Like League of Gods, Legend of the Naga Pearls makes it clear that China is really catching up in the visual effects department. If not the narrative department, but I digress. And it's not cheap to make good-looking effects. This movie looked really good and the digital effects held up to scrutiny. Even the animated pangolin. Speaking of which, I just want to say, perhaps uncharacteristically, that I appreciate the filmmakers using an endangered animal as a character. I hope it helps change people's attitudes about pangolins and maybe even contributes to keeping them from extinction. Because guess what pangolins are used for in traditional Chinese medicine? You guessed it. Yeah, or they're just served as a delicacy so, you can impress your friends. I got a better idea what they should eat.
These nuts.
But let's move on. I'm not going to talk about the story in this movie because I really didn't understand it when I saw it, and now it's been a couple of weeks since I saw it. And to be honest, the story is the least interesting or remarkable thing about this movie. So let's forget about it. It actually kind of makes the movie better. As I've already said, this movie is really notable for its visuals. Some of the cast is wearing really heavy-duty prosthetic makeup. How heavy-duty, you ask? This is Kitty Jong. Zhang Luxia. I had to sit through the end credits of the movie just to be sure that it was her because I couldn't recognize her. This is Simon Yam, who is at least recognizable. And considering what this movie is like, he probably wishes his makeup was more like Kitty's. But let's not dwell on the negative, even though I'm accused of, virtually living there. The thing I liked most about this movie was how often it surprised me, even as it met my lowest expectations. I've previously coined the acronym LUNCH for labored, unfunny China market humor. You've probably seen it in movies more than once. Legend of the Naga Pearls is quite frequently, as Reverend Spooner would say, funch as luck. Work it out. Not only does the movie show a joke, the movie itself screams, "Look, this is a joke!" And yes, the pangolin farts. Because lunch. But in the midst of all that middle meal of the day, there are more than a few genuine surprises that are genuinely funny or entertaining. And most of them are really inappropriate. I admired that, because unlike the safe jokes, they're not oversold. They're just sort of put there and you've got to figure out if it's supposed to be there or not. Right at the start of the movie, I think the main actor is trying to look up a woman's skirt. I couldn't be sure, but after a few more of those kinds of dirty jokes, like the gay blowjob gag thing, I guess he must have been. It was really strange to have these jokes in, according to the rules in China, a movie that should be viewable by children. The same thing could be said for some pretty gory wounds and violence that, is shown in enough detail that I was again kind of surprised but entertained. Probably, I admit, because it was inappropriate. Now, Legend of the Naga Pearls isn't a good movie, but that's not for lack of trying. If this movie has anything, it oozes effort. This movie doesn't just play in front of you. This movie attacks you. 90 minutes of cinematic assault and everybody on screen is trying their hardest and I have to give them credit for that. I admire how hard everybody seemed to try, even if they didn't always succeed. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go out of your way to watch Legend of the Naga Pearls, but if you're stuck with it, you know, on an airplane or something, or in a hotel room, you're not going to be bored. And these days, that's enough. So if you really want to watch it, probably wait till it turns up on TV or on an airplane or in a hotel. If you really want to own this movie, I guess that's up to you. When it gets released to home video, I'll update the description with a link where you could buy a copy, but you're not going to have a lot of company in that department. And if you really enjoy not having a lot of company, please click on my Patreon page and help support the channel, because YouTube sure isn't going to do it. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know. And if you didn't, let me know. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you again soon.